Dude, where's my mojo?
Have you or are you losing confidence, dealing with physical and emotional changes of midlife, having relationship problems? Stick around and let's talk openly about things men don't usually say out loud, like struggles with self-image, libido, understanding women. This chapter is, dude, where's my mojo?
Let's get into it.
We are just two guys navigating this chapter called Midlife. What started as two friends swapping stories that turned into a quest to answer life's biggest questions about this mid-crisis mystery. Join us as we talk it out, laugh through the chaos, and get real about the struggles. This is our podcast. This is our question. Is it menopause or menopause?
Okay, so I don't know why this is even a conversation on the table. What do you mean, dude, where's my mojo? Where's your mojo? What's wrong with our mojos?
This was actually an interesting topic that a friend of mine brought up, and he's pushing 50, and same idea. Kind of looked at me and said, "Hey, you ever wake up and you're brushing your teeth and you look in the mirror and say, I don't know this person anymore." And you think, am I getting older? Am I putting too much weight on? Am I just not cool? Like, it just, a rush of emotions kind of just came over him. And, I can honestly say I've felt that before. And I can remember it's been stages in my life that I felt it before, but it was a serious question.
What stages? You didn't feel that at 20?
So I did, honestly, oddly enough, it was back then. I can remember I was probably between somewhere in 18 and 20. And I can remember in the bathroom, I looked in the mirror and went, this doesn't look like me. And I don't know why. I can't remember why. Now, maybe it was a weight thing. Maybe it was, something else or whatever. But that was my first real thing of going, that was my first real time of not recognizing who I was. Because in my mind, I was probably like, the 12, 13-year-old kid that you'd always seen pictures on your parents, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good, I think you and I, a little while back, had that conversation about peaks and valleys in our life. And it seems there's magic every 9 or 10 years. We have a dip in testosterone. But it's also rallied around some kind of life-changing event. So, you turn 30 and all of a sudden you have a kid and a mortgage. And, coincidentally, your testosterone goes down. Yeah. And you're like, it's challenging. Are we weighed down by stress, or is it our physical appearance, or, that type of thing? Same thing happens at 40, maybe again at 50. So staying true to, I think, maybe the episode of the podcast in general is we're here discussing
how much testosterone we have.
I mean, no, because we're full of it.
We like to think, I guess.
But no, it's. Why are we even discussing this? And I think for the audience at home listening to this, it is. It breaks down to. What are we suffering from? Are we upsetting our wives? Are we upsetting ourselves? Are we having a midlife crisis? Is this our wife's fault? Is it our fault? Who really cares? Why is it even on the table as a discussion? And I think it's because everybody goes through it, and everybody has all the same questions. And I think we're not here to solve anybody's problems. Just talk about our own and our listeners and people calling in and saying, Here's what we think. And we'll come to a general consensus together.
I think overall, just letting everyone know you're not alone if you're feeling this way, because I think we've been through this, and hence why we're here talking about this. Because I think it is a thing, and it's definitely a male and a female thing, just two completely different versions, but also the same. Each one goes through their own versions of it, like menopause, and I can't remember what the male's anaphase or something like that, or
menopause.
Menopause.
Menopause. You had you'd put down some valid points earlier about midlife crises and whether we're out there buying Harley Davidsons to make ourselves feel better. And I don't even know if I want to dip into that yet. I was watching an episode of Billions the other night, because that's what you do at this age, is how do I get rich fast, and how do I get the Ferraris in the driveway and stuff like that. And they had a guest speaker talking to them all, trying to rip up the crowd, and it was a female psychologist who came in and said, "Hey, look at everybody in this room. You're all masters of your own domain. Look at you and I. We own our own businesses. We don't have any problems in life. I mean, everybody has problems, but we're okay. And at the end of the day, we got friends who are in their garage working on motorcycles. You're drinking beer after work. You're getting together on weekends. You're enjoying a nice glass of Jack, whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. We're masters of our own domain. And yet here we are. And so what was posed on the table was, you've all got everything under control, right? And if you don't, you're not afraid to ask for help. We're at the age where we can say, hey, Jeff, I need him with this or that with that. But I pull out this little box of blue pills. And I look at the room and say, everybody good? And everybody at the table, everybody out there is like, yeah, no, we don't need that. We all, yes, you need that. Fuck. I remember I remember bartending years ago at 22 years old thinking, that'll come in handy. I mean, I don't need it. I probably still don't need it now. But why is it, if we're also masters of our own domain and we all still have our mojo, why are we so afraid to ask for these things or talk about it openly or, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's just it. I think it's the mojo part because, especially as a guy, growing up through our generation, it's funny. I was just going over this the other day and having, a kid that's going through that kind of age group too, where it still has a pecking order. There's still a pecking order. There's still certain ones are segregated from each other and some are leaders, some are followers, some are alpha and some are beta. Like it's very interesting, but it's always funny how, growing through your life, how you always wanted to be more manly. You always wanted to be that tougher guy in the bar. You always wanted to try to impress a woman. You puff up your chest and throw your peacock feathers up. Yeah. And I don't think it ever ends because like even to this day, you're going through the grocery store and an attractive woman walks by you.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's not, it's not even because I'm not going out to Tilson or Walmart thinking to myself, geez, I'm going to peacock this thing. Look at me, cock of the walk. It's not to land women. It's not to, it's for your own self-esteem, right? Mm-hmm. It's, you don't go thinking I'm wearing my pajamas, although some do, but you don't. You don't. I mean, you simply don't. You put on your best shirt and you check yourself twice in the mirror. And it's ironic because our wives, and both of us have beautiful wives, they'll take an hour to get ready, and you just sit there and roll your eyes. You're like, but we do the same thing. It just takes us less. It takes us 5 minutes to get ready.
Same idea. You look.
The same idea. You look.
Well, kind of comb our hair.
Yeah,
and take a couple times. But on the other thing, I was thinking about, when we were talking about this, about why don't we talk about this or why is this coming up? I think we were also brought up, and it is still you get ribbing from your buddies. It's like, hey man, I think I got anxiety. Yeah, you're a loser. Walk it off.
Yeah. I mean, that's our generation. That's how we were. And I think, and again, staying true to the episode and and what we're trying to achieve here with our listeners and each other is, we grew up in a generation where it was walk it off. There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah,
I mean that's our generation, and our kids are different.
We don't have buddy benches, or we didn't have buddy benches.
Oh, my Lord,
or whatever.
No. And even, I mean, we both have sons, and it's the same thing. They have no problem coming out saying, my girlfriend cheated on me. Like, that's nothing I would ever share with my dad. But it's more open society now. We didn't have that, and I think that we're starting to embrace that a little bit now. Yep. But still under the attitude of, walk it off.
Yeah, it's still...
And I don't even know if we're going down the right path. We'll go down probably 100 paths in an episode. But where I'm saying is, I just brought up the blue pill, for example. But is that mojo? Is sex mojo? Is it also? I don't want to get out of bed today because I got no responsibilities or too many responsibilities. Or
do we even have mojo?
Do we?
Is it even a thing?
Is it? Well, I mean, you're Austin Powers. Where's my mojo, baby? And it had nothing to do with
Yeah.
It truly was. Where am I right now? Why does my next door neighbor have fancy vehicles in their driveway, and why don't I? I mean, I've done everything in life to deserve this. And, excuse me. It comes back to, is mojo sex related? Is it physical related? Is it mental related? Is it financial related? Are we the cock of the walk? That's the mojo.
I think that's exactly it. What is your mojo? Is it your mojo? Is it my mojo? Is it the mojo of the consensus? I think it's all your own. Interestingly enough, we had this conversation a little while ago, me and my wife. We were watching an old Guns N' Roses video. And honestly, Axl Rose at that point was, kind of the greatest frontman of all time, essentially. But ran around, would scream high, had swagger like crazy. Like this dude, some of his dance moves were a little bit off. But you know what I mean? He just owned it. He owned that stage. We watch him now.
Right.
And it's kind of like, no, I get it. The high energy thing isn't just not there. Like you're getting older, but the swagger is gone.
The swagger's gone.
Like it's just not. Both of us looked at it and went, like, what happened? Like where did you lose that? And did you lose that, or do you lose that?
So
same as us.
You raise an interesting point. His crowd base never went away. The point of
They don't
he
care.
still has the amount of people in the fandom and in the crowd. So it's not like he's peacocking for them because he's just stopped peacocking. Maybe because he doesn't care anymore. I think where I'm going with this is your wife hasn't gone away. Did you just stop peacocking for her? Because the man she fell in love with, the man my wife fell in love with, was the peacock. Walk into a room and just own that.
Yeah.
And we are. I mean, we're Alpha, Sigma, whatever you want to put it. We're those guys that walk in and be like, yeah, here we are. Take it.
Own the room.
You know, and really don't care. I don't think either one of us go to bed crying at night thinking, oh my God,
No.
I'm not enough. That's just not something that we do. But there are many, many men who do that. And they are the same men who are in the garage with the two of us, drinking a beer, fixing their motorcycle, talking about guns or I don't know, the latest Orange and Black episode they watch or whatever the hell it is. And, you know, and we're all, you know, beating our chests and, oh, it's a good day. And then you go home and you just, your shoulders flop.
Yeah.
And the weight of the world sinks in. And you know you're arriving home to, I don't know, a woman who doesn't find you attractive or a kid who doesn't need your help anymore. A group of emails saying, here's everything you have to do tomorrow and you're never going to get it done. Like it's defeat. And why are we not always the cock of the walk in that case? Is that the Mojo?
Is that Mojo?
There you go. I don't know.
That's interesting. I've never even thought of this before, other than, you know, the thing I've really noticed is, okay, maybe, you know, you think you're getting slower, but then you'll do something, you're like, oh yeah.
Still got it.
Still got it.
Still got it. And I mean, sitcom
It may be
one-liners
short-lived.
for the last 50 years. Still got it. I mean, that's what every man wants to have because we all know inevitably we're on a downhill journey, right? I mean, that's we're on a downhill journey. But there's no reason. I mean, I walk out to, you know, a local golf course and I see guys out there 75 years old and they got the spinners on their hubcaps, on their golf carts, and they got their fancy pants on. And I'm like, that guy's got mojo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, he probably got done that round of golf, went home, put some A130 rub on his kneecaps and complained to his wife who's not sleeping with him and said, yeah, I still got it.
So that opens up another question. So, how long does Mojo last?
Oh, yeah.
Is it daily, weekly, monthly, minute?
Yeah.
By the minute, by the hour, or is it when needed?
So circling back to that little blue pill, for example, that's not Mojo. That in that case, Mojo lasts 45 minutes. No, Mojo is your ability. Listen, we're going to a party this weekend, and I'm going to watch my wife get dressed for that hour because I enjoy doing so, and we're going to walk out of that house feeling good. We're going to have a pre-drink. You know what I mean?
Feel good. Yeah.
Look good, feel good. Cock of the walk. And that's going to last all night long. And we're going to, I don't know about your situation, but we're going to walk in hand. And whatever room we walk into, whether it's a seminar, whether it's a party, whether it's a family affair, I just kind of walk in. I'm like, here I am. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm on. I've got it turned on forever. And then we get in the car on the way home and the wife will look and go, man, that was really good. Like, you know, we're somewhere tonight and we're excited and we're up and blah, blah, blah. And that's great. That's a Saturday night. And then Monday afternoon, it's, what are you doing? I got to run some errands in town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not a cock of the walk. That's Mojo. So have we lost our Mojo or do we put it on hold? Is it a temporary basis? Are we borrowing against trouble?
I think I don't even think Mojo is a thing. I think it is I shouldn't say it's a thing. It is a thing, but I think it's all on how you are, you know, especially now getting older. I don't look at trying to impress anyone. You know, even I probably didn't a lot back in the day, but even now, I don't care. You know, if I want to wear something that's not appropriate to somewhere, I don't care.
Yeah, no, I call bullshit. I mean, I don't call bullshit because you see the clothing I wear. I purposely go out of my way to wear like T-shirts that say I direct midget porn or, you know, it's not.
Yeah, but that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. But I'm getting the attention. But
but you don't care that's what you're wearing.
I don't. Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, you don't care whether it says something on it or it doesn't. Yeah. It's that you don't care anymore. And I don't know. Did you care back in the day?
Well, you care enough not to wear jeans and a ripped T-shirt to a funeral. You're not going to go in your pajamas to church.
Respect is something.
Respect is something, right? But you're right. You know, I don't have to look every day and go, man, my gut's showing too much in this shirt anymore. It depends where I'm going. You know, if I'm going out to a party on the weekend with a bunch of other, well, this is a fair topic. If I come to your house this weekend,
come across good.
Yeah, thank you. If I come across this weekend to your house and you're having a party and there are 6 couples at this party, I'm gonna look good. I'm going to look good.
Yeah.
And I probably want the men to think I look good and the women to look good. I don't want to go home with this women. I don't want to sleep with this women. I'm hearing on with my wife. But what I'm saying is I absolutely do care about the shirt I'm wearing that night. But if I'm going to my family's Thanksgiving,
So I think you just proved it. I think you just maybe answered some of that question because Where is your mojo? So there's two things to this on what you said. When that party's over and somebody comes back and says for the first time they met you for the first time, they're going, man, that dude was awesome. That guy was great. I can tell you right now, I will never hear, man, that guy really had nice clothes on.
Valid point.
Right.
That's a thing. Yeah.
Secondly, the other thing that goes with that is I always bring that up about weddings. People always, spend tens of thousands of dollars on their weddings. I'm like, the only thing people remember about weddings is the party.
Yeah.
What the party was, who got drunk, who friggin' streaked naked through through the hall,
People
or
have done
something. I think I have video. It's close to home.
Not me, this guy I know.
But yeah, see what I mean? So all that stuff, the appearance, all the little flowers and stuff that they would spend hours and days and months building, nobody cared. And that was that their mojo?
100%. I made that argument too. And it's off topic, but these people that spend $100 a plate on dinner to have duck à l'orange and souffled Brussels sprouts with a maple drizzle on them and stuff. Give them a burger and fries. Nobody's there for the food. Nobody goes home and says, "Oh my God, the meal was the meal." Maybe it's a talking point, but it was an epic party. You know what I mean? Same with speeches and all that other stuff. I back into the mojo thing. If this is the case, if we don't care what we wear, which I don't think is necessarily true, or we don't care,
that's right.
How often we peak and valley on our supposed mojo. Talk to me about midlife crisis. Why is there a thing out there where men are buying Corvettes when they're 45 years old, or you turn 50 and you gotta get your pilot's license or buy a boat? Is that midlife crisis, or is that just I've earned it?
It's a good question.
Like it's my next phase. It's my next chapter.
I honestly, looking now at that age, I don't see that. Like I've never felt that, but
Never like a midlife crisis. You don't feel the need to own a Corvette.
No. No, I've, you know what I mean? Like that's something that I've never, the only thing that I have felt, and whether this is midlife or not, is I enjoy your boat with you and a cigar and a glass of whiskey and it's quiet.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is that my midlife crisis? Maybe. But I don't want to go drive around on a sports car that I don't fit in.
Did you watch Shawshank Redemption?
Loved that show.
Okay. You remember when they were up on the roof and Andy Dufresne there?
I won't remember anything about all these movies.
I know, but I'll recap.
And they're talking, right?
He got the beers for the boys, and he said he didn't have a beer, and he's like, he just took joy and comfort seeing those around him. Mm-hmm. Did he get one up on them that day? It didn't really matter. He felt like a human again because he was able to do this. And same, you were talking about the cigars on the boat. For the listeners at home, I got a boat a couple of years ago, and I got it because when I go out, I get to see my wife's hair blowing in the air, and I get to see smiles and spend time with family. And it's not about these old Miami guys on their yachts with their gold chains and their bikini models jumping everywhere. I mean, every guy wants that, and it's a
join
cool
our Patreon to hear the explicit
That's a whole
story
different
that.
channel, different podcast. But truly, what it is I think it's not a midlife crisis. I bought the boat for me, but at the same time, there's nothing better than captaining that boat and taking a buddy out and smoking a cigar and being like, look where we are. This is our chapter. Or taking your family out or taking friends out and say, enjoy your day.
Yeah.
I feel good. And that's not me dancing on a boat. That's not me chugging whiskey and doing hooter shooters and blah, blah, blah. That's me saying, this is life. This is mojo. This is...
Yeah, you're doing it on your own. You don't care. You know,
right.
This is the clothing thing. You don't care. That's for you.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's
mojo for you. What is your mojo for you?
I think mojo's for you.
It's got to be.
Did we just stumble upon that? Did we just solve world hunger with mojo hunger?
I don't know. There's got to be more to
coin
it.
A phrase.
Like there has to be like because it all makes sense. Like certain and does mojo change as you age? Like when you go from your pubescent years up to your adult years. When you were a kid.
Yeah, we started the episode with you saying you were 18 or 20 years old going, I do it. And I'm like, really? I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. But it does. But many people have it. What happens to me is different what happens to others. We've all had it. I don't have to ask you personal questions, but our wives, anybody's wives, just in general, you look, and as a husband, you wake up in the morning, you look at, oh my God, it's that time of the month. They're arguing with their mom again, or I got to put up with this, and they're depressed about something. You're like, nobody wants that.
Hysterectomies.
But,
That's the way to go.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. We love and support our partners, and I think everybody does. But there's never a day where you wake up out of bed and think, "My God, I hope my wife has some sort of dramatic experience today."
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't wake up and think, "Oh, I can't wait to slide it in that later," because you don't. You're looking. You want the date. You want the Saturday night date where you're at a party, you're having a couple drinks, going, "Yeah," you're high fiving each other on the way home and being like,
having a good time.
Yeah, having a good time. That's what you want. Do our wives expect anything else of us? Are we that egotistical to say, hey, it's a Monday afternoon and we're, sorry, hon, I got to do these emails and a little stressed and let's catch last night's rerun of Yellowstone type of thing. She's like, oh, I can't wait to jump on this guy later. No, she doesn't. She's looking for the mojo as well. So is it for us? Is it for them?
Okay, so you're onto something.
Right?
Yeah. They're looking for that mojo.
Yes. Yes, they're looking for the cock of the walk, the peacock. If we came in, if your wife got home on a Monday afternoon,
this episode's about
and you looked
apparently.
and said, of the walk. But if you looked and she's like, hey, what's going on? You know what, Brent? I got a dozen emails in front of me and like a bank appointment at 4, but all I want to do right now is twirl you around the living room to a little Chris Stapleton. Bam! There's your mojo. And again, it's not about the reward or anything like that. It's just, hey, there's my Jeff.
Okay, so that's an interesting point about how big is Mojo? Is it a car or is it a? Oh, you look good in that shirt.
Thanks, man.
No homo. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's Mojo's confidence. Here's what we've nailed it. Mojo's confidence. You walk home and you look at your wife and say, screw the emails, screw the bills. It's all about you today. Because I can afford to say. Mm-hmm. We don't need these emails right now. These will be here later on. I think what we've come down to is Mojo is confidence. Mojo is not the boat. It's the feeling you get on the boat. Mojo is not the Corvette.
It's not the
feeling you get by driving the Corvette. It's the look what I can do. Look what I've accomplished. Look what I am able to present to others, and look what makes me feel good enough to stare at those around me and say, "I got this."
You know, that's a very good point, and this makes all sense now because much like. It's interesting because, you know, I ride dirt bikes and I've rode dirt bikes my whole life. That was weird. Now I'm awkward.
Yeah.
My mojo is just burning.
Dude, so I'm going to interrupt you right now. So for the listeners that don't know, my wife and I woke up about a month ago and Jeff here is like, hey, I got a motocross race today. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, first of all, how big are the shocks on that motorcycle? And B, are you going to break a bone? Because I wouldn't, no way in a million years would I get on that. I would require training and I just don't have the balls for it anymore. And we walked out there and I mean, hats off. Like, I mean, we were both laying on the ground, taking pictures of you, watching you get, and you're like, oh, I didn't get very much air. What do you mean didn't get very much air? You're on a goddamn motorcycle. You got some air. That's about, that's, so much more air than I got that day. It was incredible. And that was Mojo. You weren't doing that.
I don't know.
That was for you and you alone. You didn't even want us there.
Well, that was the whole point. And I think that's where, because I took my son, we went trail riding and I follow him just in case something goes wrong. So the last time we went through, he said, like, I want to follow you. I want to see if I can, because of course he's faster than me now. So, but he's like, I want to follow you and I want to watch what you do and maybe see if, maybe give you some pointers of how to ride. That's where he's at right now. So that's a real pain in the ass. But anyways, we were going through the trails and I mean, we clipped pretty good. Like in the trails, we're way faster than on the track. But when we were done, he stopped and he's like, hey, that was pretty good. That was pretty fast. He goes, it was interesting to see what lines you take and what corners you take. But he goes, probably half a dozen times you just slowed down and just kind of lollygagged. And I was like, And then I got thinking about it. And when I was going through there, I was admiring the leaves. I was admiring the trees.
That's the thing.
And I'll never forget. I can tell you exactly where it was and everything. I had this bike that looked like a dirt bike, as a kid, a bicycle. And I can remember going down this big hill. And I had a dirt bike at that point, but I could only ride it at certain times. And it was kind of a pain. But going down this big hill, I can remember, the wind blowing in your face and you didn't have to pedal. And you were going really fast. You're like, one day I'm going to have a bike and I'm going to ride on this road. And that's my thing. That's my mojo, I guess, because I go out there and I love the wind and it's your own thing. Like it's your own little game.
Yeah.
It's not a Corvette. It's not about don't look at me because I don't want anyone to look at me. So that's part of it.
Okay, so
That cranks me.
if we're, and I mean, we could probably spend 10 hours and everybody else at home could write in and call in and tell us their version of Mojo or the epiphanies they've had listening to us. But one thing we didn't mention was, what's it take to kill your mojo? So we brought this up, but what are the mojo killing moments in a relationship, for example? So we looked and said, hey, all we have to do is put away our emails and say, hey, let's spin you around the living room, baby. And we got mojo. But at the same time, let's say you do that and you're met with, why the hell are you still sitting here? Did you get groceries today? We got responsive. Whoosh. Is our mojo reliant on our partner? Our partners are our best friends. And
I don't think it's partners. I think it's just people.
Just in general, people can kill your mojo?
I think mostly because when it comes, for me anyways, I think, you get the old, no, I don't like the big ones. They hurt. There goes your mojo. When your kid's like, Dad, why were you so slow that last lap?
There goes your mojo.
Or, when you're maybe going to grab another chicken wing and someone's like, why, maybe you shouldn't do
you need that one?
Yeah. You shouldn't need that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it certainly
or
bursts
somebody
your bubble.
says that.
Yeah, it certainly bursts your bubble. But I think where I'm going with this is, and again, trying to stay true to what we're trying to achieve in this podcast about menopause versus menopause is, can our partners bring down our mojo? Can we look and say, I'm trying my best here, but I can only be
I think something
a failure or unattended or unappreciated for so long before I'm like, why bother putting on the good shirt? I'm coming home to separate bedrooms tonight type of thing.
That's a tough
it's
one
not
too.
that. I mean, that's not my personal experience, but where I'm going with that is if we know there's no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, do we have our mojo? Or is there any reason to go over the rainbow that day? Or are we just like, we'll put on a rerun of Yellowstone and do this?
Yeah. So that question is, can you not just drop some mojo down and reverse that?
Great question.
So one of the big things that I've been seeing a lot of is that for women to initiate sex,
okay,
with their male partners, because it doesn't happen usually a lot. Now some people do, but a lot of it's the guy that initiates. It's the guy. It's kind of the whole thing. And one of the big reasons that the male want that is because it makes him feel wanted. It makes him feel
absolutely something. Yeah.
So that's like a whole mojo booster. So what's a mojo booster then?
Yeah. No, genuinely, and I've said this for years, everybody I've ever been with and everybody I've given advice to was, hey, listen, at the end of the day, it is not shameful to say that I would gladly say 90% of men out there would agree with the fact that all men need to be needed. We need to be needed. We need to have a purpose. We need help us change this light bulb, help us clean the gut, whatever it is.
Other than for what they think we're needed for.
Correct. But we still we want to be desired. We want to be needed. So somebody initiating, absolutely. That's woo.
Yeah.
I still got it. There's my mojo. But I also don't mind initiating myself. These are once again, we're relating mojo to sex lives and yes, but is it?
I don't think it is just that though.
Mojo is also your wife coming home one day saying, I recognize everything you do and I got you a new motorcycle. It's in the driveway.
Oh.
You're like, what? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to see cock of the walk. Yeah. Like that's pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not just that. It's recognition from others.
Yeah.
Gives you mojo. Initiation gives you mojo. Just good spirits and good times gives you mojo. It's maybe avoiding drama. I don't know the exact answer.
Winnings, think like winning something.
Yeah.
Whether it be a lottery ticket or a card game or
absolutely, yeah,
something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that mojo then?
But they're
Like,
boosting
what really
confidence,
is mojo?
and once again, I think mojo is confidence.
what
I
it
think
is?
mojo is confidence, and
Good
I think
suit.
Yeah,
Like, is that a confidence booster? Like,
we're right back to what shirt do you wear to a party?
I know. So maybe
You know
we're
what I
wrong,
mean? I don't.
or maybe we're right.
God, maybe we wasted a half an hour episode talking about stuff that doesn't even exist. But I think what it really does boil down to is,
So have we lost our mojo?
have we lost our mojo?
Like, really? Or was it just not the same, just different?
Was it never there?
Or was it never there?
Right.
So if you never had it, How do you get it? Why do you want it? And if you've had it your whole life for what you thought, have you really lost it?
So my wife likes to compare life to seasons and everything to seasons, relationships to seasons, parenting to seasons, life to seasons. And we have a couple friend of ours, and both of them are on their second or third marriage, but they've joined together in life, and it's working for them. And there's mojo, and there's confidence, and there's nice outfits, and there's nice outlets, and you hope that climb, that roller coaster climb, you just hope that it keeps going and going and going like that. And I'm not even going to discuss the fact that it probably won't, and there are probably going to be dips and peaks and valleys. There is, but I just love watching that thing, and I'm like, is this the right thing? And are they doing the right thing? And her opinion on that is, hey, everybody has their seasons, and his last relationship was summer, and he's now in the fall. It's time to rake the leaves. It's a different season. It's not necessarily
That's an interesting analogy.
But so where I'm going with that is we're in fall. We're in midlife. We're fall, right? We've had our spring and we've had our summer, and summer was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good summers.
You're 35 years old and a pot to piss in, thinking, "Oh my God, what's next?" But didn't matter because you're still probably hungover to realize, too hungover to ask the question, and still making yourself. But now we're in the fall, and it's a different season, meaning it's a different mojo. I don't compare my mojo. If we had a 35-year-old sitting at this table right now, I'd be like, my mojo is I can chug a case of beer with the boys and still funnel and go axe throwing. And I'm like, that's mojo. Ours is I don't have a mortgage and I got a sports car.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Different
I
versions
paid my
of
bills
mojo
this week or this month.
I mean, everybody has different versions of mojo in different seasons or years of their lives. But I think really what it boils down to is when you wake up out of bed in the morning, can you look in the mirror and say, oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I think that is the key, regardless of what anybody else says. It's for yourself. And I think there's boosters and there's killers as well.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's your own it's your own thing.
Listen, if you're an F1 driver, and you're watching the tracks coming up in Vegas. I'm a big Vegas fan. And you're watching these guys go. They're a million miles an hour. But they're going to stop every once in a while, take a curb. They're going to slow down. They're going to hit a pothole. They're going to blow a tire. They're going to make pit stops. Same as us. We got our mojo full time. And I really think we do. I think we got our self-confidence and blah, blah, blah. And I think what we have to recognize is that there are killers. There are curves, meaning our wives are mad at us. There are potholes, meaning, shit, I just lost some money on the stock market. Whatever the case may be, we're going to have peaks and valleys. But I think we have our mojo.
I agree.
I think we have our confidence, and I think we've maybe together discussed what that is. And maybe because we're old, we're comparing it to Austin Powers losing his mojo years ago in the thing. And where is it, baby? It was here all along. Yeah. We just have to recognize it comes and goes.
It comes and goes
as we want it,
or make it yourself. Do that. Go back to that the season thing really works. And I think the chapter thing. I've been having this conversation with my wife a lot about chapters. And I think that's really what happens is each chapter is new, is different. You can make it whatever you want. You're in charge of your life chapters. Yeah. So if you're down on your luck and you feel like you have no mojo, what made you have it before? Go do that. Just go do that.
You're not going to find it with a new Harley Davidson. You're not going to put yourself $80,000 more in debt and say, I got it back. That's not going to happen.
If you, like I said, if you rode a bike if you were 12 years old and you got a dirt bike and then you rode it for a year and then it broke and then you never rode another one for another 40 years, buying a bike is probably not going to solve that.
Yeah.
Might.
Well, you know what? No,
you know what I mean?
Not might. It's gonna change. What's going to happen is the equivalent to buying a bike is buying a gym membership. Yeah. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start going to the gym. Let me tell you where the gym's going to get you. It's going to, sure, you're going to feel healthier. Maybe you get a little mojo back. Maybe it's a gradual climb. And then there's going to be distractions. There's going to be maybe somebody who's not mad at you anymore. And your eyes start to wander, blah, blah. There's nothing but trouble from it. Mm-hmm. I would say, let me save you $80,000 on a motorcycle right now with this advice. When your wife gets home from work today, drop everything you're doing, put on some Stapleton, swing her around the living room and just grab a handful of ass and say, here you go, and watch the mojo climb. Just watch the reaction, because it would be a shock to everybody, to you, to her, return, to the whole system, and the return, and you're going to get the same serotonin or dopamine reward that you would getting a Harley. And yes, it's going to be gone in half an hour. Yeah. So would the Harley when you go to bed tonight.
That's right.
I saved you $80,000. You give me half, we'll call it even.
It's expensive bike.
Cut me a check.
So, okay. So I think we narrowed it down. There are definitely seasons. I like that analogy. And I think each chapter of your life offers a different version of your mojo. And I think we can agree you have to create it if you don't have it. If you have it, good. Roll with it. If you don't have it, create it. If somebody cuts it down, bring it back up again.
Bring it back up again.
Just do it.
And you know what? If you're struggling with that and you don't know, write into the show.
Yeah.
Give us a call. Send us an email.
We got some
Tell
pretty
us
good
why.
answers.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have
probably
the
been
answers.
through it.
We're not therapists.
We're probably been through
if
it.
we haven't been through it, one of our friends has, or we're just too shy to admit on this episode because there's listening ears. You know what I mean?
We can make a
but,
statement.
yeah, get a hold of us. Let us know. We'll discuss it on the next episode. I mean, we're happy to do that because we're in this together, man.
Yeah. We're here for everybody. We're here for you. And I think we've exhausted this. So
yeah, buddy. Cheers to menopause.
Cheers to menopause.